So we're just on our way up to Forster to catch up with Kris Hickson. So he's back in town for a little bit. He's travelling Australia at the moment with his family, but he's back in town for a little bit, so he thought good opportunity to go up there with a bunch of prototypes and have a day on the water at Forster. So we've got a bunch of new lures to test, new shapes, new designs, new bait junkie stuff, new colours, new hard body colours. So I've got plenty of gear to get him to look at, and Kris is good. He's always one of the guys you want to get looking at the gear before it comes out. He'll very quickly tell you if it's any good or not. So had a little pit stop for breakfast. We'll get back on the highway and hit the road to Forster. Today's all about water clarity, not so much about fish. Yeah, look, she's pretty dirty actually. Might have to wait for the running tide. Doesn't look too bad. It's like this is dark clear. Normally that's like crisp.
Hell! What do you want to do first?
Got fish and we want to go and check the shit or what? See how the water is, I guess.
Go, let me up through the paddy.
Yeah, not a bad idea actually.
Like maybe just up this
Pretty
way.
good, wasn't he? Pretty plain. Well, I'm gonna say good, as I said, it's like a metre fish. Not. The lake should be good. Should be alright, should have settled out by now. It would have been right until we got, as the flush came on, day did I fly in? Last Monday, and I flew over the Manning, the top of the Manning, and the top of this, and I'm like, holy crap, the Manning's pumping up there. How are we going to chuck? What do you want to try?
You assist?
Buoyancy.
Yep.
Just random colours. Yeah, these are the Sazanamis.
They give them a real easy name to say.
The colours.
It's not front Foster salty, but it's salty. It should. It's pretty salty. It's definitely not brackish anyway. Maybe a set of rings might do that. That sinks.
Yeah, well, that's rings.
Ah, heavier rings?
Yeah, that's spike rings.
Yeah, right. So maybe this one with spike rings?
Yeah. Next size up. There.
It's not that much.
A bit chunkier wire though.
A bit thicker.
Alright, so we're in Wallace Lake at the moment. I've got Kris with me. We're testing a couple of new, or soon to be released lures and all sorts of gear. So got some shallow hard bodies on, which will come out under the Infeet brand in a few months, and just going through the first samples of buoyancy. So we normally get, probably half a dozen samples with various different weights inside them, and we can play with the hooks and the ring sizes to get it exactly floating or suspending exactly how we want. So just going through that at the moment. We'll try a whole heap of different split rings and hooks and work out the exact combination for the weight that we want. And then we'll go through and do some colour testing and all that sort of thing as well. So first of all, cast these around to see if there's a few fish. There you can see the edge of the weed in there.
Yeah, it's like so this bit's pretty shallow. That's why I sort of wanted to come in here and then sort of deepen slowly as you go out.
Is that first nibble?
First nibble.
He's not very big. No. He's off that sandy patch. This is the scary part. Never pole them in on samples.
No. That's why I came to the weed. Fishing samples at Forster's dangerous.
Yeah. Got a big one for Forster stand. Oh, Kris has got
his
one
mate.
too. Double hooker.
Oh, I had to get the smallest one too. There you go.
Prototype markings. So this is suspender version 1. Kris has got version 2. Black and gold colour. I've got like a wakasagi kind of colour.
It's always a good sign too when they eat it head first. You know they kind of want it. Very good.
Little fella.
It's always, it's pretty hard to get a suspending lure because we fish in so many different situations in Australia. You could be fishing in a dam for bass, freshwater, or you could be in a lake like this that generally is like super high salt content. So we try and find a balance that it doesn't sink super fast in fresh, but it also doesn't float like a cork in salt water. So that's sort of a bit where we're at the moment. This water's got a little bit of fresh in it today, just due to all the rain. So it's probably a good balance. If it slowly floats in this, we'll be pretty close to the mark. And then we just got to make sure that it doesn't sink like a rock in fresh water. So a bit of trial and error, and you can never get it suspending perfectly for every situation, but we'll try and get it as close as we can.
Yeah, because it even depends on little factors like water temperature affects buoyancy as well. So whether you've got hot or cold water also affects buoyancy. So as Chris said, it's almost impossible to get something perfect suspending in all conditions.
Fluorocarbon to nylon leader and leader size adds to it as well. So
yeah,
as I said, you just got to get it close.
Yeah, get it as close as possible that works for the most situations, and you can always you know, change hooks and stuff to get it perfect for the exact situation that you're fishing in. So, but so far I reckon Chris's sample's the best one we've tried so far. Mine's a little bit too heavy, but his one's probably a smidgen too light, so somewhere in the middle will be pretty good, I reckon. Definitely preferring the one Chris has got at the moment. Just do a double check of rings.
Cast better than the original.
Yeah, so this lure, it has the silent gravity system in it. Personally, for me, I don't want a lure to make too much noise, and that silent gravity system, you can actually tweak it a few different ways to be a not silent gravity system. And basically what that is the tungsten weight that runs on the stiff wire inside. Each end of that weight we put a small little rubber, essentially little rubber washer, and that just eliminates that loud kind of clunking. That's quite a dull sound as it slides back and forth there. And we were just commenting on the fact that we think this one casts better than the original sample, but we actually haven't changed anything other than adding those cushions in. So don't know if that's changed anything, but certainly seems to be casting better and
I think just
better sound.
Additional weights probably helped it all over too, having a bit heavier hooks.
It's physically heavier than the
physically heavier bait. It just seems a bit more controlled. The old one tumbled quite a lot. This one darts a bit better. That was a throw into the wind on pretty heavy line and it still got out there all right.
Yeah, so Chris is fishing it on straight through and I'm fishing it on a Braden leader because always good to test on both kind of line types. Anytime you can cast a little lure pretty good on 5-pound straight through, it's you know it's going to cast pretty well for most people. Alright, so I just got what will be one of the next bait junkie shapes. Been working on this one for a long time. And this is the first time we've done multi-material. So for this shape we actually developed sinking bait junkie Elastomax.
Looks good.
So this one's got a sinking belly and a floating top because my goal with this one is I want to be able to fish it on a worm hook like this.
That should enhance that bit of action we get out of it too.
Yeah, and we've been playing with this one for a long time. If you see the tail on it, it's kind of a shovel tail kind of thing, and it gets this really cool wiggle on the drop. When we made it out of the sinking material, I wanted to see whether we could still get it to sink with the belly but have it stay more upright by having the top floating. So I'll play with this one now. Okay, I'll give you a go at this one. This is a sample. This is one of the new models. This is actually one of the new In-Feet Z models that were added to the range this year. So it's a 7'1" light fast action. It's probably my favourite flats kind of hard body rod. I'm obviously throwing a plastic on it at the moment, but really great rod for throwing a little double clutch or a spike or something like that over the flats. And I really liked it for that shallow minnow actually. So kind of a bit of an all-rounder, but a couple of guys that have had samples for a while really like it as a jerkbait rod.
There's a bit that it changes sort of from sand to weed here. I can never remember where it is without my marks. So there should be anywhere through here within the next kilometre.
Just that simply.
It's only a bubba, but it's always good that they eat it. Microbread.
It was one romantic afternoon on the beach.
Drunken fling at the pub for sure.
Yeah.
I can't even remember.
I don't know.
There's a bite there actually. Let's see if that gets it.
What, Tweed ABT, probably.
Oh, I missed him.
2009?
Oh, maybe. It'd be something like that, hey, yeah. I remember you were doing some stuff with Babs at the Hawkesbury one day.
Oh,
we caught up a bit.
Too.
Hello?
I saw him trying to eat that.
Oh, that's more better, huh?
It has a fairly decent little
back
swirl,
on it.
Swirl on him.
Good. Swap your sides.
He's not very big.
No. He's having a rumble, that's the main thing. And it is a brim.
Foul hooked. Oh no, he just tangled around his fin. There you go. Whee. It's on the sample bait junkie and jig head combo. New bait junkie shape. Don't know what we're going to call it yet. The shovel minnow. Don't know. Little fella. Hey, that can be the name of this shape.
This is deep in here, eh? This
Yeah.
bit here, it's like 4.5 foot out there and drops into like 10 in a spot in here before it comes up. Just a different tail on these ones, so it's like a minnow body with a grub tail that Tom wanted to do for ages. It was always like looked good on paper, we were always a bit unsure as how the tail was going to swim, and then literally first go it was awesome, like really, really good. So
the wave minnow.
Wave minnow it is, there you go.
Wave minnow.
It's got a really long, skinny tail with a kickback. Nice and easy for the fish to suck it into, but it does get a really nice action at really low speeds. You got a 6th.
Yeah. So what was that one? A 6th for it?
Yeah.
Find what that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's a 1/6?
Not that time. At least it was cut sand flats we can do that on.
So we've finished up in the lake. So we're going to go down the front now. It's a bit of cleaner water. So we've tested them up here. Going to go try and find a bit of cleaner water so we can actually see a good distance in. We can actually watch the lures working. We've got some deeper hard bodies that we need to test, go down to like 10 foot. So we need to head out the front into a bit of deeper water so we can see them swimming, and we'll see how we go. So let's go. Alright, so just testing a few deeper versions of our current Master 93. So they come in this colour, Not the most probably attractive colour, but nice big contrasting black line, which enables you to see how much body roll there is on the lure. And obviously nice bright colour, you can see it pretty good. But that black line really lets you trace the lure and make sure that it's got the right action you want, the right amount of body roll, the right amount of wiggle. But these ones, we've got two different versions with eyelets in various different places. So we actually drill out the bib and glue in temporary eyelets, so they're no good for catching fish. The eyelet will come out, but this is what enables us to test the swimming action. Once we're confirmed with that, we'll go ahead and make a proper fishable sample, which will have the proper fixtures in it, which will be able to actually be used and catch fish on. So this is kind of step one, and then after this we move to step two, but that's why they're such a weird colour.
Yep, too shallow.
Almost comes out of the water. When you
Yeah, not enough traction.
go real hard.
Yep.
So we got extra deep or double deep versions of the double clutch 115. Everything from super deep through to a little bit deeper than current one. Shallow version double clutch 75. So probably one of the most requested lures from the last couple of years, shallow version of that. We've got extra deep running versions of the Spike 53. So same as the 44 now, we'll have an MR and an EXDR, so we've got an EXDR sample in that. And then also a couple of deep diving versions of the current Master 93. So lots of lures to test out. We'll try and find a bit of cleaner water somewhere here, see if we can see them swimming.
Essentially just checking what the action's like on this one. It's a shallow runner, so we sort of want to make sure it doesn't go too deep, but also want to make sure it stays in the water and has the action we want. We've sort of got an action in our head and a depth range we want the lure to be at, so it's just a matter of cast out and work it like you would normally and see what it does, and then also maybe adjust your retrieve to see if you can make the lure do what it needs to do. One to keep it deep, another one to sort of keep it up a bit higher. Then also check for buoyancy and that it tracks straight and that it's got a good action on the wind as well. So just all the little attributes that make a good lure out of it. So this one's, it's struggling to stay in the water a little, and the action's pretty erratic as well. So it's not holding doesn't have a rolling action at all. It's sort of fairly erratic on the retrieve, so that's probably telling us that the bib's not quite right, whether it's not quite square or not quite grabbing enough water. So far we have found one that's probably the pick of them, but even then I think we'll still do a little bit of work to it. I think these are the first samples, Tom? Yeah, so this is the first go at this one. Yep, seemed like it. It's still on, I think. So now we've switched from that double clutch to the sort of double deep Spike 53. It's going to be a matter of finding the one that swims probably the deepest with the best action. So there's always going to be a compromise there. If you pull too much water, it's going to struggle to stay tuned. If you don't pull enough, it's going to want to come off the bottom too quick. So we've got a couple of different ones of these. We'll give a run and see how they go.
Just lost my handle, I'm capped, didn't I?
In the piss.
Whoops. Mid sentence, I was just like, tweet.
That's on film. That'd be great.
Nah, it wouldn't go as deep as that.
No, is there one in between?
No,
that's the next one down.
The next one. Compare it to this.
Girl, what ones are we running with? No, yeah, a bit of mica through it.
Alright, so we're just having a look at the first colour samples of the next in-feet lure. So it's a little shallow 60mm minnow, and obviously when we're thinking about colours, you know, we don't just want to keep replicating the same colours throughout the lineup. This lure in particular will be used in very different places than, say, an in-feet spike, for example. So the colour selection for this lure is not going to be the same as what you'd put in a crankbait or a top water or something like that. So very specific colours. A few more. We're playing around with these foils at the moment. This is a Dell foil, so this is the very realistic pearlescent foil that Daiwa developed. A few guys in our Japan office actually made a few different types of this Adele foil. This is the more, I guess, aggressive type. There's 2 more stages below this that are a little bit more subtle. So just going through the first samples, got about, I don't know, 15 or 16 colours here, trying to narrow it down to probably the top 10 for what will make the final release. So a couple of tweaks as there always are, but good first samples anyway. So
Doesn't connect, isn't like part of the same fish because they're at a different height, I reckon, maybe. I don't know, I can't really pick it in my head what it is. There's something there that it could be just that distance in that gap, eh?
I'll Photoshop it.
Yeah, just bugger around.
So we've got the final packaged samples of the new assist hooks, or retrofit assist hooks. So really popular hook option, obviously, for top waters. A lot of guys put them on the back of their top waters. Also, a lot of people throw them onto blades as well. So we've been making our own version now, last year or so, working on it, swapping out all the hooks, testing a whole bunch of different hooks to try and get a really strong, small hook that's not too heavy, physically heavy. So ended up on a really strong spade hook, which has the flat eye, makes it nice and easy to tie onto assist hooks like that in the Saxas finish, so you get that nice penetration. And we ended up with 3 colours in kind of green, kind of clear orange and an orangey red option there. So it'll be perfect to chuck on your slippery dogs, blades, that kind of thing. New retrofit assists, so look for them out in stores. We're getting snagged.
Just getting snags. I got mine off, but see, all good. Be good.
I think I brought a few rods today. Just a quick change. All right, so we've done most of the work for the day. Now it's a bit of fun. Got probably half hour or something just in the paddock at Forster with the gun, Kris Hickson.
Fishing this muck. The water is utterly putrid at the moment. Tide change was at, what, 10 o'clock, and it's now nearly 4 and it's still, oh, actually it's just turned to come back in, so. What? What are you swimming that way for? That's good, lucky. Oh yeah. Got him! Flathead? No, that's a bream. Oh, here's a flathead. Bloody fest. Oh, that was a big one. Proper one. Whoa. There you go. Try again. Got him that time. That's not a bream. That's the biggest flathead that one. Donging the flatties.
There's another in that corner.
Yeah, lots of them. There's a brim bite, that one too. You try catching him, you're the right way.
Yeah. Alright. A few bream, a few flatties, but no, just hit a sandbank.
Yeah, apparently.
So yeah, it was good day at Forster, mucking around with some new lures. So
I'm just going to go really far that way first before we do this, because apparently there's no water there.
All right, so that's it for the day. We just finished off with a bit of a social fish in the paddock there and caught a few bream and flatties, but purpose of the day was good. So we tested a whole bunch of new lures, went through some new colours for some new in-feet hard bodies, and tested a whole bunch of samples. So it's been really good. I think we nailed quite a few things today, so a couple of more tweaks and revisions we need to make to a few projects, but a lot are getting towards the end of their lifespan now, I think, so should be able to put the finishing touches on them back in the office and get them onto the market ASAP. So get ready for after shows in August, so that'll be the launch of a lot of what you've seen here today. So yeah, it's been good.
It's been fun. Yeah, it's always good playing with some new stuff. It's amazing how much work actually goes into a lot of it too. Sometimes you get lucky and you get it first go, but the majority of things we've brought out, we've worked really, really hard on getting as good as we can. It's pretty easy to just pull a lure out or a product out and be sort of done with it the first sample, but I think we much prefer to make it as we want it and as we think will do the best. So it's been good to get a few things right.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things. I've worked with Kris now for the past 4 or 5 years on a lot of the projects like Bait Junkie and all the hard bodies and stuff, and like he said, it's easy to get something that works and catches fish, but we personally want to use it as well, and that's where I think it's really important for us that if we feel we're confident in it and we really like using it, then it's probably going to suit a lot of people out there, because we're quite perfectionists, both of us, with our tackle, and we don't want to use stuff that's not quite 100%. So I think it suits Daiwa and the market really well when we put our heads together and really say, well, is this something that we'd feel confident tying on at the start of a tournament or a day's fishing? And chances are, if the answer's yes, then it's ready for release. So yeah, it's been a really good day, and make the drive back to Sydney and go into the office and put all the finishing touches on. So thanks for watching.